Hello, everyone, and good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Back Chat. This is my weekly live stream. And my name is Christine Yogaberry. I'm a yoga teacher and I specialize in yoga for scoliosis, for those of you that don't know me already. And in these little chats that I have, sometimes I'm here on my own talking about a specific topic related to scoliosis and back care yoga. Sometimes I have people I'm talking to, and they're usually experts in what they do, and they usually have a story to tell about scoliosis. So this is happening every Wednesday afternoon, 4 o'clock UK time, or for example, I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern time. But today I've got a very special lady here, so I'm really, really excited. Her name is Paige Fraser, and she is a professional dancer. She's got scoliosis herself, so I will be asking her about her scoliosis story. And she's the founder of the Paige Fraser Foundation. So she's going to be talking about that as well and some fabulous projects. So let's bring her on. Hello, hi, welcome, Paige.
Hi.
Thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for joining me here today.
Yes, this is great. I'm excited to talk.
Yes, how exciting, isn't it, that we can now have these conversations? I'm here in the UK, you are in Chicago, and yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
It is. And I remember when I discovered you on Instagram, which is also like has been such a great platform, especially for those of us with scoliosis. Just being able to connect with others and be reminded that you're not alone.
Yes.
Uh, for so many years, I felt like I was going through this alone. So it's great, as you said, to be able to connect in these really cool and important ways.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, anyone who's joining us live, so I can see Bernie already saying hello. So, if you are here live, I know there's a few of you watching. I will be asking Paige some questions. Obviously, we'll be having a conversation, but I will be keeping an eye on the chat. So, if you have any questions for her, for example, then please do type them in the chat box. I am seeing them, even though sometimes there might be a little bit of a delay of reading them out. But this is supposed to be an interactive, informal chat, so feel free to get involved as well. Shall we start, Paige, maybe by would you kind of share your scoliosis, your personal scoliosis story? Kind of when did it all start for you, and how did it develop?
Yeah, so I went into the doctor for a routine checkup. At the time, I wasn't having any pain, no symptoms. And my pediatrician, my doctor said, it looks like there's a bit of an unevenness in your back. And I suggest that you go get an x ray. So I went and got an x ray done, and lo and behold, there was a curvature in my spine. And the surgeon said, he told me it was pretty severe. And of course, it was just kind of like, where did this come from? How did it get severe so quickly without me even feeling it?
How old were you? Sorry.
13. 13.
13. Okay.
Mhm. I had been a late bloomer, like a very slow grower into my body. So, like, that was always kind of normal that I was just very late with how I bloomed. But to see my spine in this curved position out of nowhere was very, very shocking.
Mm.
As you can imagine, very scary. Um, Up until that point, I had been dancing pretty seriously. I started dance at the age of 4 years old. And it was something that over the years I just grew to love, and I wanted to do it all the time. I took it very serious. And so, yeah, to hear and see my spine on an x ray and just not really understand what was going on was very, very traumatic.
Mm.
Um, and then to hear the word surgery.
Right.
And fortunately enough, my parents understood my desire to be a professional dancer. And we looked into other options instead of surgery as the first, option. And we found a great chiropractor in the city, in New York City. And he also suggested that I wear a corrective back brace.
Right.
So I wore a corrective. I had two different back braces. I wore one to school and I wore one when I was sleeping. So it was definitely an adjustment. Again, I was a freshman in high school. So just going through all those changes in just being in high school. I was at a performing arts high school in Manhattan, New York. So it was like really exciting to like be a dance major at this wonderful performing arts school, and then to now have to deal with this diagnosis. So freshman year was pretty difficult for me. Again, growing into my body, the brace is very overcorrective, as many of you know. So
So
then when
you
you
could
take
see it really, you could
yeah, it's very corrective. Like I still remember where it supported me, like really high under the armpit. So I'm sitting in class with this back brace on, and then I get to take it off when I dance. And so dance then really became a healing space for me. It was no longer a hobby, but it was really something that like that I needed to do. I needed to have that freedom and expression. So yeah, again, it was a roller coaster of experiences through high school. Just trying to figure that out, figure out my body, where my body needed to be in space. And when I say space, with dance, we take up space with our body, right? And scoliosis is three-dimensional. So I realized like with having scoliosis, I have a different understanding of like what a spiral is and like dropping my head down to come back up. There's just so many things that like with having the scoliosis, I had to reconfigure and recalibrate within my body, and my center of alignment and all those things, which 16 years later, I am still figuring out. It is a never-ending journey. As you grow, as you get stronger, I'm noticing I'm working a lot now on like my hypermobility in my pelvis. And as I'm working on that, I can't neglect what's happening up here. So there's just always something to think about. But I like that. I like doing that type of work so that when I am on stage performing, I don't have to think about it. It just happens.
Yes.
So I do enjoy the work that I'm doing, especially now during this pandemic. I'm off from work. I'm no longer performing right now. So I'm able to really spend time with myself and my spine health.
Yeah. And I'm curious, so I'm not a dancer, obviously, but I did take ballet lessons when I was a little girl, and I remember very much that my dance teacher looked at me, and she very much said to me, "You're never ever going to be a dancer with your spine." So I'm wondering, has something like this ever come up for you? Has anyone ever kind of seen any restrictions in this?
No.
Maybe that was just my.
Not because of my spine, but that is it's common for teachers to see something, whether it's your spine alignment or in dance, we do a lot of positions in turned out position. So maybe some people have like very limited rotation in the hips, or they don't have really nice arched feet. We all have a plight within dance. And I don't think my scoliosis was ever that prominent when I was growing up.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I started like telling people, they're like, "Oh, didn't even know." I
Yeah.
did have one teacher in high school who knew because she also had scoliosis.
Mm-hmm.
So she knew and she saw, and she was one of the, very helpful and guiding forces throughout high
Mm.
school for me. To this day, I'm like, that was a blessing. The fact that there was someone in the front of the room who knew what I was going through.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I never got told that. I mean, I had other challenges because as we know, dance, especially in the States, for many years has lacked diversity.
Mm-hmm.
So being a Black dancer oftentimes made me feel insecure and wonder if I was ever going to make it as a professional. But again, thankful to my parents, they always put me in institutions that were diverse, and I was able to see dancers that looked like myself when I went and trained at Alvin Ailey. And I was like, okay, there is a possibility for me.
Yeah.
And I also did Dance Theater of Harlem summer intensive. So I was able to be around all types of dancers and feel more accepted.
Yeah.
And then again, like going to a performing arts school, I was around all types of people at a young age. So I think all of that really helped and kind of gave me some confidence to believe that I could make it.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, there's definitely, it's not easy having scoliosis and being a dancer. I feel like I've had to work so much harder to accomplish the simplest things. And it's definitely a day-to-day experience because just the normal average person, when they wake up, they feel different every day.
Mm.
So then when having scoliosis, and I guess mine is considered severe, um, every day I feel different. And it's like I have to start from zero again,
Mm.
in the conditioning, in the how I waking up um, my lower back and those baby muscles and all those things that with at least within my body tend to they go to sleep, those weaker areas in my body. So
Yeah.
um
It's like we need a reset, isn't it? To
yes, and I definitely feel it when I don't take class or do any kind of conditioning.
mm.
So it's become my life, and I'm not upset about it because again, I've been able to dance. I've danced with 3 companies professionally. I'm in the national tour of The Lion King, one of like the hardest shows ever.
Amazing. Mm.
And here I am, with a pretty severe curve. So I don't, yeah, I don't feel bad about having to do the work. I think it just reminds me like how strong and brave and dedicated I am to the arts. And that's also what that drive is also what inspired me and my family to create the Paige Fraser Foundation.
Mm. Yes, I think it's amazing. I mean, as you already mentioned, it was so important for you to have those role models, those um, black women who were successful in dance, and you can only imagine how many people or how many young girls might be out there who really need your inspiration now, who really need you to kind of be their role model. So I think it's amazing what you do.
Thank you so much.
Let me just have a quick look at the chat just to see who's here. So Tanya is here. She's saying hello. I have scoliosis, and doctor says is dorsokyphosis. So I guess she's got both. um, Vaishnav is saying I have an S curve, and I think it's more than 30 degrees. Do you know your degrees, your curvature?
It's about 59.
Oh wow, that is a pretty severe curve. Yes. But
Is.
he's asking, can I correct it? So what did your brace do? Did it do anything? Did it reduce the curvature or hold
um,
it or
it did not reduce it. It held me in place.
right?
Yes. So I'm realizing now again at 16 years later, when I first started seeing my chiropractor, my curve was about a 53. So the fact that my curve has progressed maybe 6 or 7 degrees in 16 years, that is incredible.
That is incredible. Yes,
I know a lot
absolutely.
of people, their curve increases by the month.
Hmm.
So what I want to tell people is, of course, like when I recently got my x-ray and to see that it had progressed a few degrees, I was like, oh gosh. But then I had to look at the bigger picture and be like, what I've been doing over the years has allowed it to stabilize.
Yes.
Um, and I've recently incorporated gyrotonics into my practice as well, which has been super, super helpful because with an S curve, our spine is already spiraling.
Yes.
And then to do spirals on top of a spiral, it helps to spiral it the other way.
Hmm.
So it's really incredible like how that works. And it's so three-dimensional. And I think that's why gyrotonics is so amazing for scoliosis. Um, Also just body conditioning through yoga, Pilates, but in a way that is beneficial for your curve.
Yes.
Uh, and that
Really
was something I
important.
had to learn because I would go and just take a regular yoga class and I would feel very sore.
Uh-huh.
Um, and once I started to add these practices for yoga for scoliosis, it was like, if I just add a yoga block under this hand and if I breathe into here, there's way more intention and deeper awareness. Um, so these are some things that I would suggest to the question about how to decrease your curve.
Mm.
And I've seen incredible testimonials online of people who have done gyro, who have done yoga, Pilates, and they've been able to decrease their curve. Also, Shroth, I know that is very, very strenuous, but it's
Hmm.
worked for a lot of people as well.
Yes.
Um, so there's definitely ways to decrease your curve.
Mm.
And for me, it's like where I'm at in my journey, I'd love to decrease my curve. Um, but I just want to be healthy and I want to be pain free,
Yes.
you know,
Brilliant.
and I want to walk upright. And those are the things that matter to me. Um, I'm not experiencing pain. I think the most challenge I've had with my scoliosis is I've had on and off back like spasms, like my low back, which I've discovered is because of the hypermobility
Hmm.
that I've gotten away with for many years in dance. Because it's beautiful when things are like over exaggerated and stretched out, and then being hypermobile, I just go right into that sway back.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot of work these last few months trying to control my hypermobility and my low back and also my rib cage.
Mm.
Um, and
Yeah.
it feels so strange because I'm not able to go to where my body really wants to go. It's like I'm stopping myself
Yeah. You're
constantly.
holding back. Yes.
Ooh, it's
Mm.
been a struggle. But for longevity and again, pain prevention,
Yes.
um,
Yeah. Absolutely.
aesthetically, yeah, aesthetically, it's pretty to look at, but it's not pretty to deal with.
Mm.
So,
And we have to think long term, isn't it? As you said, that there might be things that in your early 20s you were doing all of it and it was, it felt amazing, it was amazing, but it might not be something that will be sustainable, obviously, for um, a long period of time. And I think it's really important to keep an open mind about adjusting what you do and adapting it to what's happening in your life. I'm turning 40 this year, so my practice has hugely changed, over the last 20 years. And what I needed when I was 22 is not the same that I need right now, obviously. And that's what is beautiful in this work, isn't it? You just pick the things that you need and you create your own little program.
Absolutely. That's exactly where I'm at right now, is like
Mm.
building my program and things that I can continue to do when I go back to work. Being on tour, it's very important to have like a regimen.
Yes.
Um, and I'm excited to like have all this new information to incorporate into my daily warm up, and how I prepare my body for a show.
Mm.
Yeah, I think just with time and experience, and just very small, I wouldn't even call them injuries, but like sensitivities that happen, you realize like, okay, some things need to change.
Yes.
And you have to remain humble. And as you said, remain open. Because through accepting that change, you're actually going to grow in a stronger way.
Yes.
Um,
Diana is asking, what is gyrotonics? Do I have, she's asking if she spelled it correctly. Yes, it is a difficult word, isn't it? Yes, I'm not that familiar with it either. So, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
yes, don't quote me as well because I'm new to it. It is very similar to Pilates. There's a
Okay.
tower with handles, and you use the handles to just move outward and to contract in and move out and contract in. And there's also weights that you can put your legs in, these straps, these pulleys, and move your legs while keeping a neutral spine. The tower is basically there to assist, especially those with scoliosis, opening up that concave side.
Yeah.
And you spell it Gyrotonics,
Mm-hmm.
gyrotonics. And if you Google
Gyrotonics.
it, you will see the tower. It's been life changing for me. I've taken a before and after photo, and my spine is like so much straighter after the class. And it's
Brilliant.
from doing like spirals and lengthening.
Yeah.
So while engaging your core and glutes, but not in a way where you feel like you're at the gym and you're like um, just lifting weights and doing squats. It's in a way where it's like full, everything is connected from head to your toe. And they talk a lot about the fifth line, that
Mm.
energy. Um, So like even before even starting the circular motion, you have to lift up, which is elongating your spine already, lift up to go out, and then you curl and roll through every single vertebrae of your back.
Sounds
Yeah.
amazing. I will need to look into it.
You should. You should.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I know a lot of studios offer like group sessions,
Mm.
or you can take it with a friend. You know, I know we're in times of COVID, but if you wear your mask and want to split the session with a friend, it's definitely something to look into.
Yeah. So Barbara is saying, interesting what Paige said about gyrotonic. I wanted to try it for a long time, but was afraid exactly due to scoliosis. Too bad it is so hard to find practitioners who are qualified in scoliosis. Yes, I think, and that's yeah, everyone's problem almost. I mean, I meet a lot of people nowadays that do specialize in scoliosis, so they are out there definitely. Um,
I think it's a matter of finding a good instructor.
mm,
The woman I'm with, she's very hands on. She sits behind me and helps to guide so that when I do arch and curl, I'm not rolling up into my curvature.
yes,
Because that's the thing, it's very easy for us with scoliosis to um, do things that feel good in the curve. So I'm being very mindful of opening up the other side. And as a dancer, both sides have to be strong.
yes,
That's the thing. I'm not just a regular person. So I have the thing that I love about gyro, or I take bar a terre, which is ballet on the floor. It's working the whole body
mm,
with the mindfulness of my curvature. But it's still so important for me to get a workout and stretch both sides of my body. So,
yes.
um,
And have you got, so Diana is asking if you've got someone for your scoliosis. Do you work with someone specifically?
I have teachers. Yes, I have a Pilates teacher that I see virtually. I'm now seeing this woman for gyro,
Mm-hmm.
and I see another lady for bar tear, which is ballet on the floor. So yes, I have teachers, my go-to people.
Yes, good. Um, Lovely. So, Vaishnav is saying, I love to do back bend and flexibility exercises. Is it possible to do it after surgery? And that was kind of, um, it was one of the questions that I got in the Facebook group, in my Facebook group, Yoga for Scoliosis, which I read to you as well, beforehand. So it was from a young lady who was asking, she's looking into having surgery and she loves to dance, and she's worried about how this might impact, obviously, her dance training. So, can you maybe talk a little bit about this? Do you know of any other dancers that maybe had the spinal surgery or have gone down that route and that are still able to dance?
Yeah, so I have not had the surgery, but I do have colleagues who have had the surgery, and for one of them, it did cause more limitations. Just being honest,
Hmm.
she's been able to dance. She started her own company in Boston, but there have been challenges that she's had as a result of the surgery.
Hmm.
Um, but then I do know of another dancer who's done several shows at the Lyric Opera. She had a spinal fusion and she was able to have a career. But it looks like she's also gone into yoga and Pilates as her form of conditioning, and she
Hmm.
also teaches it. So I think, again, there's just been a lifelong dedication to taking care of herself.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is like the surgery fuses, but you can't just rely on that.
No.
And then another gentleman that I know who had the surgery, his rods ended up becoming infected and he had to remove them. It did fuse his spine, so it did work, but he had to go back and get them removed. So
Mm.
I say all of this with the surgery for many people is needed to prevent pain and so that you can go out and have a normal life again. But I always suggest at first trying some natural ways to kind of address what's going on. I have nearly a 60-degree curve, and to the average eye, am very straight. You know what I mean? And it's the work and the dedication I've put into building a routine and a regimen that provides strength, lengthening, breathing, posture awareness, all those things that you still will have to do when you have the surgery.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, sometimes people think, and especially I sometimes see, you know, teenagers kind of when they're talking about it, and they think, well, when I have my surgery, my spine is straight and that's it. That's not how it works, unfortunately. Um, it's, you know, there is a major operation, and very often it is necessary. So I'm not saying, you know, you shouldn't have it. So especially if obviously vital organs are affected, it's absolutely important to have the surgery, but just to not see this as like a fix, you know, that's the end of it. And I think that's why sometimes, and I see a lot of questions here as well in the chat, like how do you cure scoliosis? How do you get a straight spine? I sometimes think it's a little bit overrated to have a straight spine. You know, as you said, that's what I love what you said. You want to be pain-free, and you want to move well. I think that should be our goal, you know. Just because your spine is straight, and especially when you have a rod in it, doesn't mean you're going to be pain-free.
It doesn't. And I think about it with with my case. Like, if I were to straighten my spine, I wouldn't know what to do. I've been this way
Yeah.
for 16 years. So if someone just were to just straighten my spine, derotate it and straighten it completely, I'd literally be like a can of spaghetti. Like, I'd have to relearn how to walk probably. And the body is so incredible how it's able to adapt, and it's malleable. How malleable my spine is, even with a 60-degree curve. I see changes happen. And it just takes that extra work and awareness to spend time with yourself, because the more you carve out and you go the opposite way than where your spine wants to take you, you're creating space. Just even a small rib shift to the left for me is creating space. And it's just so beautiful, the things you can discover through all these conditioning classes. And I don't think the question about the back bend, be very careful with a back bend, right? Because the back bend is not just crunching in the low back. It's going down the psoas, lifting up to then go back, which they talk about in yoga, they talk about in Pilates. And if you want to feel that in the right way, I do recommend maybe taking a Pilates class with the tower or a Gyrotonic class, so you really can feel that energy going down through the psoas and the front of the legs. So you're not just crunching in your low back, which
into the already flexible part. Yes,
I've been guilty of, and it causes low back pain. So again, being mindful of bad habits will prevent a lot of problems in the long run.
Absolutely. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your foundation and the work that you do with it? And you already told me you've been, because of the situation at the moment, you had a little bit more time to kind of focus on that one. So why did you set it up, and what is the work that you do?
Yes, so the Paige Fraser Foundation was founded in 2017. I am the co-founder and arts program developer, and we came together to create this foundation, again, inspired by my journey with scoliosis, and also fueled by my passion to give back to the community. I'm originally from the Bronx, New York, and I've seen what the arts has done in my life and the places it's taken me, places that many people don't get to go. I've performed in Europe, I've performed in Bermuda, I've performed all over the world with the arts and throughout the US. So it's been changing for me. Yeah, so the foundation was birthed out of that. It was just this organization that we want to make sure we're giving back and creating a safe space for dancers with or without disabilities. And we, since launching in 2017, we have created 2 programs, Dance is Healing and the Spine series. Dance is Healing is a free workshop of dance for young artists, young aspiring artists, with or without disabilities. We've had it for 2 years so far, and it's been a huge success. We've welcomed all types of young dancers, dancers with Down syndrome, dancers with mental health, dancers with ADHD, dancers with scoliosis. It's a space where all dancers can have a great time and learn from some of my friends and colleagues who have incredible careers in dance companies and on Broadway.
Amazing.
Beautiful day of dance and healing. And we also do meditation for the students. And then Spine Series was born through the pandemic. I was on tour for 6 months with Lion King, and my body was like, okay, this is the perfect time to kind of like rehab my body, to repair any small things that, over time with doing 8 shows a week, it just happens. And I was reaching out to people on Instagram, and Christine, you're one of them, just following your, what you were sharing and your journey with scoliosis, and just picking people's brains on how they manage their scoliosis. Because for me, for so long, it's just, I was aware I had it, I wore a back brace, and then I just danced, right? I saw a chiropractor, That's all I did, honestly. Dance and the back raise really helped keep my posture where it needed to be, but I didn't really fully understand it.
Yeah.
um, and I've been using this time. I've learned so much about my back. Um, and that's basically the spine series in a nutshell. It's an offering to others that don't really quite understand, that have all these questions, that may not want to get surgery and want to see other things they can do at home, that they can connect with incredible
Mm.
instructors, and it's also free.
It's
So the
yeah.
Paige Fraser Foundation is a non-for-profit, and our mission again is to just give back to the community, and this is my way through the spine series of giving back to my community, my scoliosis community.
Brilliant. So in the description below, everyone will find obviously first of all the link to your foundation. So I saw there is a donate button there, so you can donate directly obviously to it. And then for the Spine series, which is starting this Sunday, isn't it? Very excited. So I'm going to be one of the teachers there. So we've got four fabulous teachers. And we've got one lady who teaches gyrotonic as well, isn't it?
Yeah, she's teaching gyrokinesis. So gyrokinesis is even more accessible at home. All you need is a chair or a stool. So it's
Brilliant.
great. Yeah, it's really great. I think it's a wonderful introduction to gyrotonics. I do
Right.
recommend anyone who's listening who has scoliosis, take a gyrotonics class. It will change your life. I literally was in tears. I just felt like it was like an out of body experience. And I think once you take it, you don't have to take it every day, but it's just something that like you add to your toolbox. You adding all these wonderful information and resources, and then you're able to really like fully understand
Yeah.
what your body needs.
Yes. So we've got her gyrokinesis. We've got two yoga for scoliosis classes, isn't it? And what's the fourth one? Just remind me again.
Scolio fitness.
Scolio fitness. Good. So you've got a really amazing variety there, and I think this is an amazing offering and really amazing opportunity for, as you say, for people just to get a taste of, some different ways of working with scoliosis. And again, you'll find the link below so you can sign up. I'll be teaching this Sunday. So I'm the first one.
Yay! So excited. And
You can
yeah,
join live, isn't it? And then is there going to be a replay for people who can't make
right.
it?
So, just to let everyone know, you must pre-register. Please email info@thepagefraserfoundation.org. It's on our website as well. And then once you email us, we will send out the Zoom link, which is private. So everyone must register. We want to keep the space safe. We want to make sure that people are comfortable, we're all doing this in our homes. So I want to make sure this is a safe and welcoming environment for the participants. And there will be time for questions after each class. It's every Sunday at the same time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And yes, I'm going to learn a lot too. I'm really excited. I've done a lot of your practices, Christine, through Instagram. So I'm excited to take a class with you. And then the other three teachers, I've done classes with them already. So you guys are in for an incredible treat. And I'm so excited to offer this to the community, especially those with scoliosis, because again, when I was speaking to Christine earlier, it's very easy to feel alone.
Hmm.
Um, Whether or not you had the surgery, know that you are not alone. There's so many people going through this, and community is so important.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Good. So there's so many comments, so many questions here. So yeah, maybe we'll go afterwards. We'll go through some of the comments, but I'm just having a quick look. So Diana was asking, how do we register? So you've got that covered. She's saying I sent an email, but I haven't heard anything. Diana, this is a manual process as well. So
What is her name? Diana?
Diana Orlando.
I think I emailed you, Diana, but I will email you again. Um, yes, if people have not heard back from me, let me know on Instagram or whatever it is. We have at least 50 participants, which is incredible. So I'm trying to keep up with everyone's emails as best as I can. I'm pretty sure I have Diana, but
Okay.
again, I will circle that out to you again.
Good. So Bernie is asking for yoga and Pilates practitioner, should we use thicker foam mat? Ooh, what's your opinion on this?
I just have a regular yoga mat.
Do you? That's what I use. Yeah. So I have a very standard yoga mat as well. I think it depends on what practice you do exactly. So if you do a lot lying on your back, or if you do a lot on your knees and you have any sort of kind of knee problems, you might want a thicker mat. Um, but if you do something where you're more standing and maybe where you're moving a little bit faster in a practice or do a flow practice, you might want a thinner yoga mat because they have more grip. So it kind of depends on what the practice is, isn't it?
Yes.
Good. So I'm going to bring up your little page here as well because I wanted to share your Instagram, obviously. So there you are in the full picture. So so I've shared your Instagram here, but what's your preferred way of people getting in touch with you if they have any questions?
I would reach out to the Paige Fraser Foundation on Instagram. I'm very good with responding to everyone. Again, if you have not received the Zoom link email from us, send me a quick DM. I will send it out to you again. Technology, that's all I can say. It has a mind of its own. But I would hate for anyone to miss out on this incredible opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep messaging and reaching out to me and we'll get it taken care of. And then also my personal Instagram is at loving this page. I share quite a bit about my journey and the fun things I'm doing. I try to separate the two because the foundation is a larger picture beyond me, right? So um, in July, we actually highlighted artists with various disabilities. You should check it out. It's on the Paige Fraser Foundation Instagram, and we shared their stories. And yeah, we're just trying to grow and continue to build as a foundation through the arts, through healing, through just advocacy, everything. So definitely follow both pages. As on my personal page, I talk a little bit more and dive into things differently. So
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely inspiring and really amazing all the work that you're doing. So thank you so much for
thank you.
sharing all of this.
It's so great. I'm glad I get to finally talk to you.
Yes,
Not through DMs.
yes, exactly. That's always different, isn't it?
Yes.
Good. So thank you everyone who's been watching. Diana is saying thank you, Paige and Christine. Great session. Definitely appreciate you sharing your journey. And there's plenty of more specific questions. Obviously, Vaishna is saying, can you share your routine? So um, you might want to get in touch with us afterwards if you want a little bit more help and if you don't know quite where to start, and then we can definitely point you in the right direction. But I'm going to say goodbye to everyone, and we'll see you either at the Spine series on Sunday. So for me, that will be 7 p.m. for Eastern time. That is 2 p.m., isn't it? 2 p.m. Or see you for back chat next week, again happening at the same time.
Yay. Yes. If you guys have any further questions, just reach out. I'm available.
Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Christine. Bye, everyone.